I'm Ken Payne. You're watching the Lakeshore Drive. Today I'm with Svitek, formerly guitarist of Ministry, MOD, Mindfunk. Who am I forgetting?
Revolting Cogs, Pigface, etc. You know, a few other projects.
You're doing engineering now. You have a studio. You also have a record label, Wuli Records.
Wuli Records.
Tell me a little about Wuli Records. What kind of bands do you have on your label?
Wuli Records started out. I had my studio in my apartment, and I met Red. Was the first artist that we signed, and Red kind of got me going with the engineering thing. I was helping out with some projects, and finally moved into this building, and I started meeting all these really good musicians. I met Lee through an ex-girlfriend of mine.
That's Lee DeWise?
Lee DeWise,
okay.
and I met Lee. We started working together, and I started having these guys come in and helping them out with their music, and I started telling myself, God, these guys need to get out there. They're so good, you know. Red introduced me to like Cheese and Kirby from Too Unique, Young Inno, Psycho, and The Waking I met. They were in the building already, and I met John from The Waking as well. You know, so I started, you know, all these musicians and going, man, I'm around all this talent, you know, I'd love to get it out there. So I started brainstorming about the label, you know. So started putting it together, putting a plan together. I met Ryan McGuire, my partner, and you know, he came in and he checked it out. He liked what I was doing, and we partnered up, and we got the label up and going, and now here we are, just trying to get it moving.
Was there something specific, some certain trait you were looking for in the bands that you do take on your label?
Well, I was looking for a lot of dedication, hard work, you know, talent. You know, of course you need talent, but I mean, like, I've had a lot of people come through here, you know, and before we signed the people that are on the label, there was a lot of musicians I was around, so, you know, I was pretty specific, but it was the hard work, you know, they're working at it, they're passionate about it, they want to do it, they're hungry, and it's a lot, you know, a lot of those traits are what made me want them to be on the label.
And it's not like you just, you know, picked up and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to start a record label. You have like years of experience. I mean, you've been in Ministry for, I think, what, 11 years?
11 years, yeah.
I mean, you bring this experience with you to the label and also in your recording, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it all comes with it, you know. I mean, it was kind of hard for me to make the transition because before I started doing this, I knew nothing about computers, and we're literally talking like maybe 7 years ago.
It's like a crash course.
Yeah, it was a crash course, and I just started doing it, and you know, a lot of the experience does help, and a lot of the people that I worked with, you know, working with Al in the studio, that was huge. You know, just Al Jorgensen. I mean, I learned a lot from those guys. Paul Barker, who did a lot of stuff, a lot of the mixing and stuff like that, and I learned a lot from those guys. Terry Date, who did a lot of one of the Mindfunk albums. I mean, he did a lot. He did Soundgarden and Pantera. I mean, he did a lot of stuff. I learned from all those people, and all of that little stuff definitely is, I think, you know, inside of me still, and it's given me the passion to do the stuff that I'm doing now.
And inside of you still so much that, like, you're recording a band, you want to jump over there and start playing guitar?
Exactly, I do that, and I do that, you know.
You do?
Yeah, I do that. I work with a lot of the bands that I work with, except for The Waking, you know. They got their thing, but like I play guitar for Lee. I play in Lee's live band. I play guitar for Too Unique. I play guitar on Red's album, you know. I mean,
so you play out with Lee DeWise?
Yes, I do. We just played the Kinetic Playground, and I played on his album as well. Ryan, my partner, plays with Lee as well, and you know, it's fun. You know, we got a lot of hats on, you know, because we're doing a little bit of everything. We're doing the label side of it. We kind of manage the situations. We help them get shows as well. So we're doing a lot of stuff.
So you do the booking part too?
We've been doing the booking part as well for a lot of the bands that are on the label.
Are most of these bands, are they Chicago based?
Yeah, they're all Chicago based. I mean, you know, Lee's from Mount Prospect, but that's basically Chicago. You know?
Which is about time that we get like a scene in Chicago. Chicago's kind of been, I mean, except for bands, you know, like you have the Pumpkins, you got Ministry and stuff like that. It's been a little overlooked, I think.
Yeah, I think that Chicago is overlooked, but I think it's starting to come around. I think
Yeah.
people realize. I mean, I get emails from people that are moving from that are coming from like Ohio and Atlanta and coming to Chicago because they know there's a strong scene here.
Really,
And
that's cool.
yeah, and I think that Chicago. I think Chicago's on the map, but you know it is overlooked a little bit. I think artists that are from Chicago should represent Chicago a little more. I could be wrong, but I see when guys get signed, you know, they either go to New York or LA and they stay there, and I'm like, you know, why go there when you got all of this here, you know?
It gets tiring. I mean, that's what I heard, like, you know, growing up here in the music scene. So, you know, so many people moved to LA to go get signed, moved to New York to get signed. It's about time people are coming to Chicago.
Yeah, you know, and they'll get signed. They'll be in Chicago and get signed, but I see a lot of bands just kind of, you know, go west or go east and, you know, not base themselves out of here. It's the big ones, you know, I mean, but I think that bands need to represent Chicago a little more, and if they did that, the city would probably get a little more recognition.
I think so.
Yeah.
So your partner's with Ryan
McGuire,
Ryan
yes.
McGuire. Tell me a little bit about your partnership. How does that, like...
Well, you know, we do a lot of, Ryan does a lot of stuff for the label, you know, he does a lot of, he records as well.
Okay.
He does a lot of Lee's recordings, and, you know, he does a lot of, he's been doing a lot of stuff with the internet, getting a lot of bands out there. You know, our partnership is pretty cool, you know, we have a pretty cool understanding about what's happening, and we work good together. He's a laid-back dude. He's a really cool person. I mean, I couldn't have done the label without him. I mean, he came, he stepped in, and he brought it. He's brought it to where it's at, you know, and I needed that. So, yeah, he's a big part of the label.
So, what made you actually decide to go from one side to the other? Now you're on this side.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, you know, before you're playing all over the place and stuff, and I mean that's.
Well, you know, for one thing, you know, it's having kids will change your life, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of changed my life a little bit, you know. And when my son was born, I just kind of, it was like, you know, it's time to play dad. And once I'm playing dad, I can't go on tour. I was
keep yourself based.
keep myself based here, and you know, that's when I was like, I love music and I'm passionate about it, so I want to keep doing it. So you know, this is how this all started. I was like, I want to keep doing music, and first the studio, and now the label, and you know.
You ever pop on like an MOD album or like
I haven't popped on an
just,
MOD.
you know,
I haven't popped on any of that stuff in a while. I pop on a little bit of Mindfunk once in a while. I mean, because Mindfunk was like, you know, I started that band with John Monty. It's kind of like my baby. You know, Pat Dubar and those guys. It was really, we were doing really well, and it just didn't work out. But I really loved that band. It was a cool band. We were very different. And I just think it was bad timing, you know. But I liked listening to Mindfunk every once in a while.
Is it possible Mindfunk could?
I think Mindfunk right now could do really well right now if we could get it together. Well, we have an album that's like 70% done, and I've been communicating with Pat Dubar, but you know, we're still talking about it. There's nothing really concrete, so I can't say for sure. Well, there's a MySpace site that I don't run. A fan put it together, and we still get a lot of hits on it. Yeah.
What is the site?
Mindfunk. I think it's Mindfunk 616.
Okay.
You know, so we still get a lot of hits, man. People are like, when are you guys going to come back out? So.
You don't just record the bands that are on your label. You're also here at the studio for hire.
Yeah, I have a studio. Svitek Studios is the name of the studio. I record other musicians. Like today, you met John Chaney, and we recorded. And I think we're going to go forward and start recording some more music. And I do have other artists that come in that outside Wuli Records that come here and record with me.
How can somebody find out about your studio? Where's the best place?
Well, the best place right now is you got to go to Wuli Records, but I don't have a studio website. It's all been kind of word of mouth.
So just go to WuliRecords.com.
Wuli Records, my email's on there. Send me an email. Hey, you know, I want to check out your studio. I want to record. But it's all been word of mouth. I've been pretty lucky, you know, like my name is, you know, it carries itself a little bit, and I'm very fortunate for that. you know, and
Probably get like, hey, Wuli Svitek's gonna,
you know, so it's
record our album. That's awesome.
it's cool, you know. So, but that's how you can contact me through the label.
Okay, so you have WuliRecords.com.
WuliRecords.com.
And there's also a MySpace.
There's a MySpace Wuli Records, and that's pretty much the two sites we have right now.
And with Wuli Records, we could find out
you can
where
find
your bands
out,
are playing.
yeah, where our bands are playing. We have news on there. You can buy the albums on Wuli Records as well. You get all your information about the bands that are on the label, and you can go to their pages as well and check out what they're doing.
Awesome, cool. All right, well, thanks a lot for your time, Louis.
I appreciate it, man.
And
we want to know doing these. All right,
awesome,
thank you so much, man.
And WuliRecords.com.
Thank you.
Louis Svitek, and thanks. Have a great one.